Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. Let's go. Happy Monday. And as you can see, looks like XRP is starting to come back as the rest of the crypto market. And also, Ripple got approved in Luxembourg for regulation. And the White House is meeting about advancing crypto. So let me know what you guys think about that. So let's get to it. Let me see where's screen share. So let's turn on the spotlight and see what we can see. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and super chat, or you could use the what is this? The Cash App. But this is Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a crypto brokerage that helps you along your crypto journey. So if you're new to crypto, you can get 24/7 support from an expert. And when you sign up, you get a one-on-one broker to help you to your crypto journey. And as well, you can use your broker to help you understand how crypto works. And Caleb and Brown is a trusted brokerage, and they also self-custody. So you don't have to worry about logins and passwords and keys. I was actually looking at Trade Ogre. Trade Ogre contacted me about the cubic I have on the Trade Ogre site, but I can't find my keys. So hopefully with the password, they can enable the login, but we'll have to see. But that's here nor there. Thanks for joining. What up, Silver Days? Thanks for joining. What up, Peter? What's good, bro? What's going on? So as you can see on the bubbles, we're back green. I guess the panic or the shakeout is over. The president's meeting today, so maybe it has something to do with it. Or there are a lot of deals happening. So maybe we're back pumping. Maybe the rally will start. We'll start the bull run. It's finally altcoin season. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So, Link is up 2.4. Solana's up 0.8. Algorand is up 3.8. XCM's up 1.3. Telecoin's up 5.4. HBAR is up 3.6. Stronghold is up 5.4 on the day, down 0.6 on the hour, up 11.1 on the week, up 15.2 on the month, and down 11.1 on the week, down 15.2 on the month, and down 60.2 on the year. Render's up 4.3. Bitcoin Cash is up 1.5. Prime's up 3.5. Helium is up 3%. Binance is up 1.4. Jasmine is up 4.3. Caspa's up 5.2 on the day. Down 1.2 on the hour. Down 16.4 on the week. Down 26% on the month. And down 72.8% on the year. Plenty of room to grow there. HBAR is up 3.6. Jasmine is up 4.3. ICP is up 1.9. Ethereum Classic up 1.6. SUI is up 2.1. Chrono's up 4.3. Trump Coin is up 2.1. Airdrone Financial is up 5.6. Ondo's up 0.8. XON is up 3.6. Litecoin is up 1.6. Cardano 80K is up 2.3, Pips up 2%, Elysium's up 1.7, Near is up 2.9, Ingestive is up 3.4, XLM's up 3%, Satoshi's is up 3, XDC is up 11.3, World Liberty Financial is up 4.5, TON is up 1.9, Cosmos is up 2.6, Bitcoin SV's up 0.8. AIOZ is up 2%. CVX is up 1.2. TON's up 1.9. Cubic is up 11.9. Jupiter's up 8.8. Filecoin's up 1.7. Gala's up 1.3. Tau is up 4.8. XVC is up 2.3. Advances is up 1.1. Theta is up 2.5. Pow's up 19. Quant is up 1%. BGP is up 0.6. Dash is up 1.5. PIT is up 0.5. And World Mobile Token is up 9.3. It's been on a run lately. So let's look at the big boys. Bitcoin is up 0.7 to 78,741. Down 0.1 on the hour, down 10.3 on the week, down 12.5 on the month, and down 21.7 on the year. Ethereum is down 0.3 on the day, down 1.2 on the hour, down 19.6 on the week, down 24.6 on the month, and down 25% on the year to 2,341. And remember now, when everything is down, when they started pumping, you could have got in when it was down, but you waited and you waited and you lost the advantage. So let me know what you think. And the people that are long-term holders, put a fire emoji in the chat. We can be in, but won't break. On the hour, XRP is down 0.3. For the day, it's up 1.6. For the week, it's up down 14%. For the month, it's down 18%. For the year, it's down 43 to $1.64. These markets are going lower, but a good indicator to see what's up, to see what people really like. Definitely. So, Peter, when do you think the markets are going down further and why? Because people are getting out to look for the bottom. People are reinvesting. Talked to some folks and they were talking about moving their money to a interest-bearing account and coming back over to crypto. So let me know what you think in the comments. And what do you suspect the bottom will be? Moving on to, let's come back to X. This is the XRP radar. And escrow is 34.2%. XRP burned is 0.014%. Circular supply 65.8%. Stablecoin is 1.396 billion. I want to say it was 1.4, so I guess it went down. On exchange is 14.2%. Indexes and ETFs is 0.76, 755.5 million. DeFi is 231.4. That definitely went up because it was 222.231%. Tokenization is 413 million USD, and the treasury is 520.9, 0.52%. And on the exchanges, Upbit is down 18.8 million, 0.35%. They still hold 37.3% of the on-exchange supply. Binance is 16%. BitThumb is 13.3%. Uphold is 11.6%. BitBank is 4.8% of the on-exchange supply. So Ethereum ETFs are up to 28.45 million today. Leverage volume is 28.67 million. We can see here spot Bitwise XRP ETFs is $8.45, down 5.55% to 18.1 million total volume. Franklin Templeton XRP is $17.90, down 5.61% with 3.96 million and 24-hour volume. Canary Capital is $17.54, down 5.57%. Total volume today is 3.30 million. Grayscale is $31.98, down 5.40% to 1.89 million. Rex Osprey is $13.51, down 5.10% to 1.17 million. 21 shares is $15.95, and I guess it is unchanged. Today's volume is 26K for the derivative leverage market. Turcom is down 10.58% to $7.19. 12.6 million in 24-hour volume. Volatility shares is down 10.07% to $3.75. 10.86 million in 24-hour volume. Pro shares Ultra is down 10.42% to $6.88. 3.04 million 24-hour volume. Volatility shares is down 5.01% to $9.47 with 1.8 million in today's volume. And Amplify is down 4.96% to $18.21 with 314K 24-hour trading volume. Looking at the crypto market, total market cap 2.65 trillion, up 0.64%. CNC 20 is 162.14, up 1.09%. Fear and greed is at extreme. Fear, people, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, stay focused. I haven't seen it in extreme fear in a long time. I'm not saying this is a buying opportunity, but it's probably a good time to buy. Not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. Altcoin season's at 32, so we're pulling further away from Bitcoin dominance. We were in the 20s, we bounced to the 30s and bounced back down to the 20s. Now we're at 32, so we're pushing closer to an altcoin season. Might be something big happening in the spring. Average crypto RSI is at 43.35, moving closer to overbought. We're closer to the center. I think we're going lower all winter, and some see life in May. So around the summer, that's when the new Fed chair will be in, and people follow the buy in May, sell in September. You're right. People generally buy for some reason when it gets warm. Maybe it's when they get their bonuses and got a little extra money, or made it through the winter and are investing for the next winter or the fall. But you're right. People do seem to buy in May. And then I think September is the worst month for buying. I guess people are selling, but good information there. This is XRP currently at $1.63, up 1.93% in 24 hours. Market cap is 99.6 billion. Wow, under 100 billion. That's crazy. Up 1.93%. 24-hour trading volume is 5.6 billion, up 38.48%. So let me know what you guys think. Any new news or updates you got. But this is the BTM Crypto News Network. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And join the X page to stay current on news and updates for crypto. So this is Cointelegram. The White House meets with banks and crypto companies to push U.S. crypto legislator forward per Reuters. Just in, Ripple has been granted a full EU electronic money institution license in Luxembourg. So it's going down, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What up? Walk with a pride. What's going on with you, fam? Thanks for joining. Now, Trump says he reached a U.S.-India trade deal, lowering the reciprocal tariffs from 25% to 18%. He also said Prime Minister Modi agreed to reduce tariffs on non-tariff barriers to zero by over 500 billion U.S. goods and stopping Russia oil. Well, that's weird. Rip Van Winkle just received, what the? Oh, wow. This doesn't happen often. Let's see what's going on here. We can log back into X. X has been locked. What? Uh-oh. Right in the middle. Let me see what's going on with X real quick. What the freak? I didn't change the password. We start the verification process to get back in. So let me start this video. I was going to wait till later, but let me get the video so we can get back going.
It just happened in the crypto space. We got a big update from Wu Blockchain regarding an update regarding account monitoring, with Binance founder CZ unfollowing Solana co-founder Tolly on January 31st. Earlier the same day, Tolly reposted an article in which the OKX founder criticized Binance. Previously, some community members had suggested that Binance as a platform should treat all ecosystems equally rather than primarily prioritizing BNB chain. Now, the repost in question is this one. And yes, it got written by *_OKX, the founder and CEO of OKX. Now, we have here recovery is just 18 months after a crash. We're talking about 18 months after October 10th. Because we're now starting to see a lot more insights regarding October 10th. So we have over here from Star. Okay, they break down October 10th. There's two posts in question here. The first one is from Binance, which has earned 12% APR with USDE on Binance Earn. Hold USDE to get daily rewards, trade anytime, and use as collateral. Now we have over here, USDE has hit $600 million on Binance just one day after announcing 12% APR. This showcases the huge growth potential for USDE as it can tap into the distribution power of the world's leading exchange in both spot and perps, and with over 280 million users worldwide. 1 billion on Binance inevitable. Now, this got posted on September 23rd. If you were here for Luna, the collapse around Luna and UST, then you already know why this is a concern and how big of an issue this can be. Let's go back to the top real quick. No complexity, no accident. 1010 was caused by irresponsible marketing campaigns by certain companies. On October 10th, tens of billions of dollars were liquidated. As CEO of OKX, we observed clearly that the crypto market's microstructure fundamentally changed after that day. Many industry participants believe the damage was more severe than the FTX collapse. Since then, there have been extensive discussions about why it happened and how to prevent a reoccurrence. The root causes are not difficult to identify. What actually happened? Number one, Binance launched a temporary user acquisition campaign offering 12% APY on USDE while allowing USDE to be used as collateral with the same treatment as USDT and also USDC, and without effective limits. Number two, USDE is a tokenized hedge fund product. Athena raises capital via a so-called stablecoin deploys it into index arbitrage and algorithmic trading strategies, and tokenizes the resulting fund. The token can be then deposited on exchanges to earn yield. Sounds sustainable, right? USDE is fundamentally different from products such as BlackRock's Biddle and Franklin Templeton's Benji Fund, which are tokenized money market funds with low risk profiles. USDE, by contrast, embeds hedge fund level risk. This difference is structural, not cosmetic. Number 4, Binance users were encouraged to convert USDT and USDC into USDE to earn attractive yields without sufficient emphasis on the underlying risk. From a user's perspective, trading with USDE appeared no different from trading with traditional stablecoins, while the actual risk profile was materially higher. Number 5, risk escalated further as users converted USDT and USDC into USDE, used USDE as collateral to borrow USDT, converted and borrowed USDT back into USDE, and repeated the cycle. This leverage loop produced artificial APYs of 24, 36, and even 70% plus, widely perceived as low risk simply because they were offered by a major platform. Systemic risk accumulated rapidly across the global crypto market. 6, at that point, even a small market shock was sufficient to trigger a collapse. When volatility hit, USDE depegged quickly, cascading liquidations followed, and weaknesses in risk management around assets such as Wrapped Ethereum and BN Sol further amplified the crash. Some tokens briefly traded near zero. The damage to global users and companies, including OKX customers, was severe, and recovery will take time. Now, I will say this. Considering the fact that OKX is a competing exchange, is all of this 100% accurate? Well, we know that Binance definitely was a major, player within this collapse. And we also know that, yeah, this is accurate. There was a lot of tokens on Binance that traded near zero, like Atom, for an example. A lot of people from the space knew this that day, and they even posted about it. So yes, this is accurate. Why all of this matters? I'm discussing the root cause, not assigning blame or launching an attack on Binance. Speaking openly about systemic risk is sometimes uncomfortable, but it is necessary if the industry is to mature responsibly. Again, I actually think that this is a very good way to go about this, not pinpointing blame or anything like that, but exposing a very big concern in the space that's led by the largest crypto exchange globally. I expect there may be significant misinformation and coordinated FUD directed at OKX in the near future. Even so, speaking honestly about systemic risk is the right thing to do, and we will continue to do so. As the largest global platform, Binance has outsized influence and corresponding responsibility as an industry leader. Long-term trust in crypto cannot be built on short-term yield games, excessive leverage, or marketing practices that obscure risk. And I agree. The major issue right now in crypto is that we are running on thin liquidity while everyone is leveraging, 10, 20, 50, 100 plus X. I mean, it just leads to a liquidity cascade causing prices to drop severely, which we are used to seeing now. But it just feels a lot worse now because we're not really getting anywhere in terms of upside price action. It's basically just us chopping. All of a sudden, mass liquidations happen and we just drop. But on top of that, we have the industry needs leaders who prioritize market stability, transparency, and responsible innovation, not a winner-take-all mentality where criticism is treated as hostility. Crypto is still early. What we choose to normalize today will determine whether this industry earns lasting trust or repeats the same mistakes again. Now, this led to, number one, Binance putting out a full official response to the statement. And essentially, they tried to blame Ethereum for October 10th. They said that the flash crash was blockchain congestion on Ethereum, which caused gas fees to spike from single digits to over 100 at times and delayed block confirmation. Slowing arbitrage and cross-platform flows in an already thin market, this widened spreads and made position rebalancing even more difficult, creating a brief liquidity vacuum that amplified price swings. Until selling pressure eased and markets stabilized, it was difficult to rebalance between exchanges or to deploy liquidity where it was most needed. I really don't think that this was the case. I really don't think that this is the case. I feel as if this is just damage control at this point. And what's crazy about this is like CZ went on a massive tangent on X. He said word of the day, and he said, see how many complainers are from accounts you don't recognize. Most of them are new accounts with low followers. While we are not perfect, we spend time on improving ourselves. Let them spend their time on us too. Now we also have over here just a breakdown of FUD. I'm not going to go over all of this, but he did turn off comments for the post to identify critics among his followers. It's just interesting to me that like we are constantly saying like, oh, this is FUD, that's FUD. But we already know on 1010 that Binance was a major player behind the cascade. We know that they were, one of the key players that caused it.
So let's go back over to X. Wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. Found something I wanted to play real quick. We'll come back to that video. So this is, again, check out the BTM Crypto News Network channel. Let me see, where are we? This is the first video.
Announcements this morning that I'm really happy about. There's going to be a full EU electronic money institution license finally being for Ripple inside of Luxembourg. And this is actually a much bigger deal than many people would think. Luxembourg is kind of a financial capital of Europe. Many extremely rich individuals live here and use the services in the banking sector here. And so Ripple getting their money institution license in Luxembourg specifically is actually a very, very big deal. And we also have a number of different institutions going deep into the world of cryptocurrency. Binance bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin for its Seifu fund today. We also have Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy buying 855 Bitcoin worth $75 million today. And then on top of that, Tom Lee's Bitmine is buying over 41,000 Ethereum worth $97 million today as well.
So as you can see, the update is actually a big deal. I knew it was, but I just wanted to show you that little snippet. This is the Epstein files reveal that Gary Gensler was directed to go after Ripple and XRP. Wow, more conspiracies. Paul Barrow. XRP has officially secured its EMI license from Luxembourg. And Luxembourg, as mentioned before, is pretty big. It's not a small mom and pop country. It's actually a pretty wealthy company on the European side. While others still wondering what the F just happened, Ripple now holds 75 global licenses, including 2 most critical financial hubs, London and Luxembourg, with full passporting rights across all 27 EU nations. The gateway to institutional adoption of XRP and RLUSD is officially now wide open. Once this happens, the U.S. with the Clarity Act, YKWTD. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll look it up later. This is what we're getting to. Breaking news. It's now officially part of the U.S. Strategic Reserve, confirmed by Ripple CEO Brad Gensinghouse. XRP, Bitcoin, crypto. Trillions in global capital rushed into the XRP Ledger Real token, but natively built on the XRPL, is designed to move value across a $654.34 trillion global market with fixed supply and rapidly accelerating real-time adoption. The conditions are set for adoption, massive supply squeeze. So let's see what this little
an incredibly efficient blockchain
was
the
different use cases between RLUSD and XRP. Maybe can you double click there and explain or summarize how do you see different individual use cases with one and the other?
Yeah. First of all, I think this is important to understand the difference because some misinformation, as again, back to the tribalism point, some people I think misinterpreted, our view. We remain completely committed to the XRP ecosystem for a whole bunch of reasons. It's an incredibly efficient blockchain, and Obviously, we own a lot of XRP. We are totally committed. As a reminder, XRP is the native token on the XRP ledger. It's required for gas, reserves, accounts ledger. But simply put, XRP is needed to use the XRP ledger. For Ripple and how we use it in our go-to-market as a cross-border payments, we use it as a bridge asset. It's very, very, very fast and nearly free for kind of per transaction basis. And we use it globally, and where currency conversions are less popular, if there's less liquidity, and that way it can complement a stable coin. So moving to the other side, Ripple has used stable coins for years, and we were using Tether, we were using USDC. And as time went by, we kind of asked ourselves, well, given how we at one point we said publicly we were minting 20% of all USDC. And so we kind of asked ourselves, well, wait a minute, could we participate in this market? And I think while we probably will still use other technologies at various points, I think we felt like there's a real role for us to play here. And look, stable coins are required for on-chain payments. And as more and more assets get tokenized on the XRP ledger, I think stable coins are going to be required. And that's partly evidenced even by the Ondo announcement from earlier today.
Well, we have still a lot to explore, and I think was
I might need to find this actual full video or full spaces and listen to it. There's going to be some pretty good information in there. I was just coming back for those two. Let's get back to where we were on the updates. XRP holders need to see this. Ripple's making moves behind the scenes that could change everything. The XRP ledger crew is probably doing the double take right now. CEO of Evernorth is tailing the same Austin Hill who slid into the Jeffrey Epstein DM back in 2014. Please drop Ripple and Stellar if you're out there poisoning our precious Bitcoin ecosystem, hurting my company's vibe. Talk about 6 degrees of crypto separation with extra Epstein seasoning. 1 minute you're building the future of payments, the next you're wondering if you follow the list got audited by the XRP Army conspiracy desk. How's the community taking the plot twist mid side eye or full popcorn mode? Seeing this follow up back drama, and it is just another Tuesday in the blockchain. Wow. I have to come back in that. According to the latest on-chain adoption, XRP just became the 4th largest blockchain by total value of represented tokenized RWAs, and it overtook Ethereum in that key metrics. What? Here's why it matters. XRP is now the top tier chain by real economic activity. Tokenized real world assets mean actual demand, not just speculative interest. Beating Ethereum here signals institutional trust in practical usage. This is not price talk. This is adoption data. Value will be issued, moved, and anchored on the XRPL. When the infrastructure starts ranking up with history behind it, the narrative shifts, and maybe someday it's too already happening. Interesting. XRP trades near 11 USD as on-chain indicators show balance between the 200-day moving average. Escrow activity adds supply visibility without triggering sales. That's an article probably to read. XRP unlocked $1 billion as part of its scheduled escrow program, splitting into 100 million, 400 million, 100 million, and 400 million. XRP is transferring 1.68 at execution. So another unlock is coming. XRP remains bearish in structure below Dama Chain and Kindler channels, with ADX near 60 showing strong trend control by sellers. Does $1 support hold, or could it break price toward the 242 zone? XRP's direct expansion liquidity grab details price touches 33 EMA, and the highlights. Mentioned conversation between Dave Scott on crypto investing in XRP. One interesting tidbit: someone almost got dinged for their blockstream investment just looking for Ripple and Stellar. The tribal nature of crypto investing is real. They tried to kill XRP, but it's still here. Let's go back and watch this real quick. Oh, well, that guy looks like Jerry Steinfeld. No, Jerry Springer actually.
That Jeffrey Epstein was involved in Bitcoin in the beginning, all of this stuff. There's no doubt that this stuff affects people, and this too shall pass, right? Because that's an absurdity. But
did you see that he almost got dinged from his Blockstream investment because he was looking at Ripple and Stellar?
Yeah.
More interesting emails, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, XRP is at 1.6 right now. Right, just keep that in mind. I mean, that's it from. So I don't know. I lost access to X, so I can't interact with the XRP army today. But I can only imagine that there are some people who are like, "What the hell happened?" It's there's got to be a lot of moroseness going on. But that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in Bitcoin in the beginning, all of this stuff. There's no doubt that this stuff affects people, and this too shall pass. Right, because that's an absurdity. But
did you see that he almost got dinged from his Blockstream investment because he was looking at Ripple and Stellar?
Yeah.
More interesting emails, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, XRP is at 1.6 right now. Right, just keep that in mind. I mean, that's it from. So I don't know. I lost access to X, so I can't interact with the XRP army today. But I can only imagine that there are some people who are like, "What the hell happened?" It's like there's got to be a lot of moroseness going on. But that.
So that's pretty interesting. Let me know what you guys think about that.
Jeffrey Epstein was involved in Bitcoin in the beginning. XRP.
X. Breaking news: White House meets with banks and crypto companies today to push the U.S. crypto market structure legislation, Crypto Act forward per Reuters, actually. Breaking news: Bank of America CEO confirmed to Fox News that the bank will utilize XRP for payments. Trillions of global capitalization and positioning to move into the XRPL, driven by Real Token. With Walmart officially approved for up to $800 billion in value, could flow through Real on the XRP ledger, setting stage for a major supply shock. Real Token, built natively on the XRPL ledger, is engineered to transfer value across the $654.3 trillion global market with extremely limited supply. The conditions are aligned for a powerful supply squeeze.
Ripple. Hi.
Okay, so Ripple.
Another one you like is Ripple. You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird lawsuit against them, and basically the Ripple is going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents on it, and there's incredible stuff that's going to be coming out. So
another.
So shout out to XRP Ripple. Breaking news, market holders, probably old video. Protect and grow your XRP, move assets off chain to secure them in the Web3 wallet and set up your LLC.
Actually have the XRP. And that's why the institutions are going to win out. And the retail people that are holding XRP right now, you're going to win out too by default, as long as you're able to hold on to your XRP. So again, I would highly recommend getting your XRP off of exchanges. Because if you are a creditor of the exchange, I just want you guys to understand this. It doesn't matter if it's Uphold or Kraken or Crypto.com or Coinbase. All of those I like. Coinbase is probably the least out of those, but I like all the other ones. If there's a situation where they need that XRP, they will take it from you. Okay? So get your XRP off of exchanges. If it's not in your cold wallet, if it's not an institutional custody with us and an FBO account in your name, you do not own it. It is not yours. I don't know how to harp on that. I'll get off my soapbox, but I'm just telling you, in a situation where Tether goes illiquid and these exchanges go down and they need liquidity and they need that XRP, they can absolutely take it from you. Not saying they will or won't. No, I really like some of these exchanges. I'm hoping they wouldn't do that, but they can. And then when it comes to Raptor mirrored versions, there's going to be a lot of DeFi products that get rolled out for this stuff. Again, once we have liquidity pools and you have pseudo accounts and you have borrow lend on chain, they just rolled out the multi-purpose token. That is for the tokenization of stocks on the XRPL. We have 8 days until that passes. Possibility that they need that in place before the reverse carry trade unwinds. We'll see. But they also need permission DEX and permission domains. Those aren't even close to passing yet. So maybe it will be mid-October when things finally kick off here. We got TJ. Oh no. It kicked me up in the chat here. All right, let me see if I can get back to it. I hate when I miss super chats for people, and I apologize. Okay, here he is. He says, XRP will hit over $100. Will you guys take clients with 10,000 XRP? We sure will.
I bet you will. But there's no harm in that. Shout out to Jake Cleaver. Breaking news, Ripple has officially secured the money institutional license for Luxembourg's regulations. More Epstein, managing director of Ripple, has confirmed that Ripple has obtained the European license for XRP and RLUSD. First, they got targeted. First, they targeted, then they suppress it. Then comes the part that they can't stop. XRP in 2020, XRP very soon. If you like it, I love it. Crypto prices 12 p.m. to 226. Bitcoin, Solana, Tether, Cardano, USDC, and where is XRP was $1.66. Bitcoin was 78,000. Ethereum 2,300. But like you're saying, if they need it, they'll take it, right? And that might be the squeeze coming. But he mentioned we got until September. XRPL wants to tokenize. XRPL Ale wants to tokenize gold. The tech's ready for 24/7 trading and DeFi, but the big players need Ripple's incentives. It will be a gold rush or just another shiny distraction. Will it be a gold rush? Ripple receives full EU money institutional license for XRP utility investors. If you've been in a downtrend for 13 months, do you know how lucky you've been as XRP investors during the time? It's absolutely amazing. More with the Epstein. Who else thought about the CC token? So it's rolling over to CC. So let's get back to the video.
And let's not forget that CZ did get pardoned recently back in October. But prior to that, there was a lot of wash trading on Binance. There was a lot of, very suspicious activity on Binance throughout, throughout the years. If you've been in crypto since going all the way back to like 2016, 2017, Binance at one point in time was one of the shadiest, exchanges in the space. But the good thing about Binance at those times was the fact that they were listing like micro caps that would just explode like 100x. Today, it's a little bit more of a different story. And the reason why I say that's a little bit of a different story is, well, let's go over here real quick. We have here. People wonder why CZ Binance is getting a lot of hate lately. It's simple. Everything that Binance touches since he's out of jail is down only, not a single outlier, all down more than 80% on average. That together with the insane amount of non-selling while calling Supercycle shake my head. Now, yes, if we are looking at this is the median performance of Binance future symbols listed in 2025. Everything is down more than 80+% since they got listed. This is the median performance, by the way. So if we're looking at this, majority of all of those future listed symbols are all down. Now, the main issue with Binance is the fact that they charge absurd fees for any listing on their exchange. And typically a lot of exchanges, when they list a token and they are granted like 50% of the supply or more, they just start selling in waves when the liquidity is ripe, which causes most of the buy pressure to turn into sell pressure, because again, that supply quickly outweighs any buying pressure, especially in a very weak market to begin with, and one that is low on liquidity. So all of these new launches, they were destined to have a massive downward swing, but this is just insane to me. Now, yes, it's at the same exact time that we are constantly hearing about a super cycle. We know recently that, CZ was at Davos calling for a super cycle. But on top of the super cycle calls, Binance traders are all selling Bitcoin. They've been selling Bitcoin for months on end, since going all the way back to October. This is in massive waves. We're talking about roughly almost $16 billion worth of just sell pressure from Binance alone. This is all on chain. You could all track all of this. Now, what's interesting about the statement that CZ made, which it wasn't CZ, because again, CZ is not running the show anymore at Binance. He has retired. I think that the big issue here is that like everyone is still, targeting CZ, and he does make it easy because, he's constantly, acting as if he still works at Binance. He's still a big supporter of Binance and BNB and things like that, because again, he did build this. But the main thing that we are looking at here is the fact that Binance, they put out this statement regarding like this congestion with Ethereum. A lot of big players from the space have been saying that, oh, this is, a deleveraging, time where everyone was deleveraging. There was $28 billion worth of Bitcoin deleveraged that day, which caused heavy losses. There's also glitches and, a code error. Like there's been so many different things that people are clinging to. Kathy Wood here is saying that there was a Bitcoin deleveraging event, but it was triggered by a Binance software glitch. Oh, a software glitch. Oh, yeah, sure. When you hear things like software glitch or, oh, the funds were misplaced, things like that, 9 times out of 10, there's some hand in the pot making sure that they are making money off of this. This software glitch, I don't believe this idea. Now, we do have a few people from the space supporting Binance. Kind of wish public figures would pick words more carefully. 1010 was very obviously not a software glitch. It was a flash crash on mega leverage market on illiquid Friday night driven by macro news. And since we are here, I get that nobody likes being in a bear market, watching every single asset, class besides crypto going up. Finding a scapegoat is comfy, but blaming this on one exchange is intellectually dishonest. Now, I will say this. I don't think that it was just one exchange. But when you have one exchange cause a liquidity cascade, it bleeds into the entire market. So yeah, although it wasn't just one exchange, that one exchange led to multiple exchanges having major liquidation alerts get triggered, which immediately turns to, automated sell pressure hitting the market. Because again, a lot of these exchanges have backstops. They have market makers to backstop losses if there's a significant cascade in the market, which also accelerates price, action in a negative way. So I do think that it's easy to blame Binance in this case. I think that it really is just one exchange that really did cause a lot of the damage that day. Now, I'm not the only one who thinks this, because we also have over here from Matthew Siegel. And if you guys do know, Matthew Siegel was one of the individuals that did talk about XRP in a negative way. He's the head of digital asset research at VanEck. I know that a lot of people don't like him because of that. However, this statement here is true. He said, come on, nobody even remembers the macro news because it didn't matter. And it didn't. During October, there really wasn't that much negative, macro news. Stocks were up the next day and shortly thereafter at new highs. Are you saying there was no vulnerability in Binance's systems that caused the depeggings and contributed materially to the washout? And yeah, I'm right there with them. I really do think that there was a vulnerability in Binance's systems. I think it's perfectly outlined by Star. Regardless of if this is another exchange that's competing with Binance, this is 100% true. Like, there was a major issue here, and you don't need to be a rocket scientist to look at this and say, this is basically the same issue that happened with Luna. The difference with Binance and Luna, though, is that Binance has a ton of capital to back the losses that were liquidated and wiped out. Luna was a little bit more of a different situation. It completely wiped out the entire back funds that they had to, back any sort of major issue that, happened. But it just completely wiped out any capital that they had. And also, if we're really thinking about the Terra Luna situation, I feel like there was definitely a lot of fraud mixed in there as well. But regardless of that, we go back over here to, that post, because I really do think that the macro events during that time are just ridiculous. Like, to say that, the macro events led to this massive sell-off, Matthew is 100% right. Like, most of the markets bounce back. If you actually look at the markets list where it's crypto compared to stocks, to gold, to silver, to every other market jumped to new all-time highs after that crash besides crypto. October 10th absolutely killed all momentum in crypto. In fact, I think that it harmed the overall view of crypto. I think that a lot of people were terrified to jump back into crypto because of what happened on the 10th. So, yeah, I don't care for the idea of like saying, oh yeah, we're in a bear market. Sure, you could say that. I would agree for the most part. But the main thing that I'm looking at here with this is that 1010 completely killed all of crypto's momentum. We were trading at all-time highs. Things were still looking pretty good. And then all of a sudden 1010 happened, wiped out sentiment, wiped out momentum, wiped out a ton of liquidity. And since then, we've been trying to build back to that point. But it's been a challenge because, again, liquidity is so thin to begin with. So at the end of the day, this is definitely a very big issue. Binance needs to solve it. I think that we need to learn our lesson from this. A lot of people hate Binance at this moment. A lot of people are calling for, fraud and, wash trading still and things like that. And although, yeah, that definitely could still be a possibility, I feel like a lot of, these top tier exchanges now have to adhere to regulations because there still is regulations on these exchanges in certain key areas. So I'm not too sure on the facts there, and I don't care to speculate on, if Binance is committing fraud or anything like that, because I'm not going to go through every single on-chain wallet to find fraud. But I will say this was definitely a big issue that was on Binance's side. Like, this is a lot of the weight of what happened on 1010 is on the shoulders of Binance. I don't care what CZ says. I don't care what any, Binance supporter says. This was majority caused by Binance. And it was just all caused by an issue that we know has been around for years because of Luna. So we do need to do better. We need to do better. We need to learn from these mistakes, especially with like what Star is saying. If we want this space to be taken seriously, if we want to see mass adoption happen, we need to solve these issues. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.
Those updates and all that information about Binance and XRP. Trying to time this video, but moving forward, this is our main man Oscar. See what Oscar has to say real quick.
Q4 and first month of Q1. I don't feel anything at this point, honestly. But guess what? We got some news happening just hours away. Check this out on the screen. You see the face of Donald J. Trump because the White House, he's not going to be there, but the White House is meeting with crypto and banks to push U.S. crypto legislation forward, which is really exciting, guys. At 1 p.m. East, everybody's going to be watching from the inside, of course. We might or might not have eyes there, but we'll see. We'll keep you in the know, everybody. That's really nice. Could be a game changer. And I'm excited, man. Like, we still have a shutdown right now. I'm watching. So far, nothing has changed. It's still cold. It's a brand new week, and we got some Ripple news. Just in, as you can tell, Ripple has been granted full EU electronic money institution license. Another one, which this really just shows you guys the quality of the Ripple team, right? And of course, just helps everybody in the XRPL, RUZ, and of course, XRP, guys, which is really nice. More information right here. Ripple joins Coinbase, cracking and securing this license, which is big fat news, which is nice, guys. Elnor says the White House meeting crypto and banks on stablecoin yield is starting at 1 p.m. this afternoon. She might be there. She might have something. She has sources, so we'll keep in touch. Price of XRP right now stopped crashing, right? Obviously, yesterday we got 149 liquidations through the roof on, long liquidations. Just 1 week ago, guys, today is the 2nd, right? So we go back Monday, it was 190. So we came down from 190, guys, 22%. Obviously, not good, but whales are buying the dip. While everything's going straight and down, Tom Lee buying more Ethereum and Bitcoin, Michael Saylor buying more Bitcoin. So that's what's going on, and it's right here. 41,000 Ethereum and 855 Bitcoin, right? So isn't that amazing? 8 hours ago, 4 trillion out from gold and silver market cap today. Now, gold and silver are trading right now. So not that bad, but obviously not at the all-time high at the mega highs that they had just this past week. So let me tell you the full story, guys. Of course, we're watching closely, and we're really happy to see you. It's a brand new month, and we'll keep you in the know with everything. There's some economical data coming in this week. Apply, consider subscribing to the channel, right? To turn on the notifications so you never miss an update when we go live. It's always good to have you there as the entire community is looking ahead of much better February, right? I mean, we won, like I told you at the very beginning, 120 days of pain and some bull traps, but honestly, you just can take a look at the chart for XRP, right? I mean, if we go up to the daily, look at this. We had a 241. We were live for that one, but this is so far what's going on, right? And we still are missing a few things, but I think they really want to sell off and crush all those longs before we rip again. And we just haven't seen a lower price, You go back to October 10. So that is October 10. We're looking at 1.20 something here on Binance Spot, because on leverage it went much lower, right? Also, guys, it's a brand new month, so big shout out to BitUnex. We have the link down below for BitUnex. You can deposit and trade the campaigns. You're gonna find that link, and well, you can sign up and of course get some opportunities for you to make some money and trade. I mean, these are the times where people wanna make some longs. For those traders who are willing to take a risk, not financial advice. And also, for those who want a 3,000 XRP giveaway, which still my team is missing to change that, but it's going to be 3,000 for February BTCC, guys. And here's the new January winner for 2026. So big shout out to this winner of 2,000 XRP. So we are trying our best to bring you guys some opportunities with BitUnex, right, and BTCC, so you make some money and get some welcome bonuses. So check them out. Also you can join our Discord and more. We're not leaving. We're staying here, locked and ready to go. Okay. So what do we have here? Well, I was looking for latest news on the government shutdown. We don't have much right now other than it's shut down, right? We are now in the first business work week amid a partial federal shutdown and impacting 78% of spending, returns. So yeah, I mean, right now, so far we don't have any update on that, but we'll keep you in the know. I mean, that's the latest. Of course, some agencies. I mean, I saw that the SEC is gonna be partially closed too. So it happens, right? Not the expectation we had for February, but we knew that it was gonna be a possibility since back in November when I told you the first time, hey guys, there might be a shutdown the end of January, and here we go. Here we are in a shutdown, partial shutdown. Hopefully it's not gonna be a full-on shutdown, right? So FYI. Now, there's one common denominator with every crypto crash in history. There's always like an end of crypto and then a nice run to the upside. So we go back to 2014, 2018, 2019, 2022 with FTX. And this was the US trade war in Bitcoin. And then we're here now. So every single time that we have an end of crypto scenario, we've seen so far that we are able to come back. And I think I'm going to use this chart for a while. So you can, when I pause the video, you can take a look at it and read. I wasn't here for the empty docs collapse. It was too early for me. I wasn't here for this bubble ICO collapse. I wasn't here, but I started here. I started here and I started here. Like I started with stocks here, and I remember, kind of hearing about this. And then this was after COVID, and then the nice bull market, FTX collapses, and then this happened, and then so every chance that we had an opportunity to buy that bear market FUD comes back stronger, and I love it. I really, really like. Now it is be a little different now that we have Trump in charge. We're seeing that it's adding some more pressure, some more stress points. Now we're going to have a new chair. There's one that has been investigated. There's tariffs. There's going to be checks coming in sometime this year. There's pros and cons. I mean, it's everywhere, right? But I think we're trusting that the crypto president and the crypto capital of the world are going to come in handy sometime this year. That's what we're looking at, because that's why the crypto community elected him, right? So for those my friends bullish in XRP, bullish in crypto, this is good. Ripple posting this news, massive ones. Jack, actually, well, we're going to have this one, which is the XRP Community Day next week. So just get ready for that. Look, they haven't even seen much. So someone posting, about the Ripple full EU license, right? But it's not even on their Ripple page. So it's going to come eventually soon. It's really nice, to see that Ripple is getting all that attention. And if we come to my news, eventually, let's say if I click here, okay, no, it's not there yet. But if I do this, we're going to have more people reacting to the news, which is really nice. Here it is. Ripple scores full EU money license, so now can operate with regulator digital payments. Right, really nice. There you go. Ripple receives full EU electronic license, which is nice. Conditions, perfect. That's what we want to see, right? And says White House set to meet with banks. Blockchain Association represents Coinbase, Ripple, Kraken, proud to participate. So these are some of the biggest donors too from the crypto industry, and they also seem to have a seat at the table when we talk about crypto, which makes sense. It's like you pay to play kind of thing. Well, guys, there you have it. It's going to be a jam-packed, day for all the industries. So we'll keep an eye on it. But I want to say thank you. Brand new week, brand new month. Let's see what happens. We'll stay in touch. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Peace.
So shout out to Oscar and thanks for that update. Moving forward, this is
the CEO of Binance.
Crypto Sensei. What up, Taylor or Tato XRP? What's going on with you, fam? Let's get back to the video. And we'll shut it down. This will be the last video today. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See what this is. Actually, no, I was watching this. We'll swing Crypto Sensei real quick.
CZ says the super cycle is canceled. It is over and done. While Charles Hodgkinson of Cardano says he's selling everything to go all in on crypto. So which one is it? Are we done or are we going all in? We also have some clips about Flare tokenizing gold possibly. We're going to talk about what's going on with the crypto dump gold and is that over? There's so much more we're going to get to. How is this going to affect XRP and the other assets that we own? Let's just get into the news and I will give you the context.
To be honest, a couple of weeks ago, I was pretty positive about the Bitcoin super cycle. But right now, given all the FUD and all the emotions that was stirred up in the community, I'm less confident about it now. To be very frank. Because the more FUD you kick up and the more you get all the community riled up, it does have negative effects. And also, basically right now, I think we're living in a very turbulent time globally.
Yes.
And globally, geopolitically, etc. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen next.
Yes.
Right. So I think fundamentally, there's going to be very high volatility.
Hold up real quickly here. Let's get some context. So right when CZ, after he recorded this, the CEO of OKX basically put out what happened on October 10th and what caused the liquidation and the crash. And it was all to do with Binance and their technology and some of the things that they were doing internally that caused that complete disaster. And now people are upset and they are FUDding CZ. And so what does CZ do? He turns it around and says, oh, because there's FUD in the industry and we shouldn't have this kind of FUD, that the market is kind of over and that's what's causing this. Binance is the cause of millions of traders losing billions of dollars. And now he wants to flip it around and blame us. Not going to buy that, bro. Not going to buy what you're selling there, CZ. I'm sorry. Here's Charles Hodgkinson having the complete opposite view.
I'm never going to succeed if we keep doing the same thing again and again and just be part of that club. Hedge a little bit. If you're going to do great things, you have to go all in. So, what I'm going to do is get back to that punk rock group, downsize a little bit. So I'm going to sell my Blackhawk, mothball the jet, sell my Lamborghinis, just go all in. Why not? I started from nothing. Many of you older fans, you remember when I was sitting in my apartment and I had the stuffed giraffes back on the dresser. And those were the days I love more than any other. And those were the most fun I've ever had.
We started from nothing and we're here, man. I like Charles. if there was a founder in the crypto space that I like to listen to, that I'm more bullish on right now, it is Charles Hoskinson. That guy, I love it. He says, I'm gonna sell my Blackhawk. He says mothball the Jets and sell my Lamborghinis. Like, he's got plural. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Oh man, just Charles is like a one of a kind person, man. You just don't see a whole lot of that kind of personality in the crypto space. All right, here is an interesting take. This is Paul Barron interviewing, I can't remember this the lady's name, but she's the CEO of the Walsher Group. And they're talking about tokenizing gold and how that's could be a possibility very soon on Flare. Check it out.
I think one of the things that could make gold go parabolic even more so now is if we were to see the launch of a dedicated asset base for gold, specifically outside of a XAUT and Paxos, something where you could earn yield. And there's a handful of companies that are kind of toying with this idea. I know Flare Networks, of course, they're talking Bitcoin, XRP, and Doge right now as what they call an F asset, where they basically, because most of these are obviously non-smart contracts, so they basically add the layer in there that enables you to trade it and, of course, earn yield against it, take it into DeFi.
Interesting.
If you could take gold into DeFi,
tell them.
Ooh.
But do you know what, Paul? That's exactly what the banks are attacking. They don't want the ability to have yield on stable coins. I mean, and that is such a, oh my gosh, it's such a, like, let me put my old framework on top of what you're trying to do that's new so that you will not want to leave my banking world. It's so sad that you have to lobby to get those kinds of things controlling because you can't compete on it in the open market. It's just pathetic.
Well, and there's a handful, I think this is coming, obviously DeFi is continuing to expand. We're going to see the tokenization. We've already seen the element of what RWA has done for tokenized stocks. It's just a matter of time before we see all of this, including gold and silver. So it's just a matter of which companies are going to be out there doing it. Hugo, if you're listening to that, he's the CEO of Flare Networks, and we've had him on the show before. I'm like, maybe this is something Flare needs to be looking at, because of course that changes the dynamic of where a lot of these spot markets could be going. I think we just listed also over on Hyperliquid, which is just another way for, and now you've got gold futures, silver futures now on platforms like that.
Beautiful.
So again, that's going to open it up to a next generation investor.
I love it.
And boom, you've got huge opportunity.
Speaking about Flare content, guys, I've been bringing it hot on this channel. Make sure that you're subscribed. You got the bell notification turned on. Every time I drop a video, I'm going to keep you completely up to date across the crypto space with what's going on in real time every single day. Anytime I'm awake, I am building and making content for you. So if you can like the video, leave a comment below. That does help the algorithm, and I greatly appreciate all your support. Let's continue to this. Also, it's going to be a big week. The Ondo Summit is coming. There's going to be a lot of big announcements, and I'm going to cover all of that in real time. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be exciting. I'm ready. I'm waiting for some type of Ripple Ondo announcement, right? We've been talking about that the last few days in some of the content, and I think it's coming. All right. Retail dumping crypto for gold. Is that what's happening?
From what I'm seeing, the FOMO is finally hitting its peak for gold and silver because people have just had enough of waiting for Bitcoin and which random altcoin might temporarily pop. And they're just saying, well, look at gold and silver. They've been going up for a long time now. Clearly, that's the play now. That's the new crypto. And people are flocking out of crypto, which historically is a good thing that's showing that we're finally getting close to that crowd capitulation. Further the separation goes here between Bitcoin and gold, the more encouraged you should be of an inevitable Bitcoin run. That just increases the likelihood of an eventual catch-up because those people who are flocking out, where are their coins going? They're mostly going toward large players who want to get as many coins as possible. Obviously, Saylor is by far the most notable name. He's still there. He hasn't been liquidated. He's not the only whale who's buying either.
All right, let's keep it going. Crypto R Us has this clip of Tom Lee. The risk appetite reset just started. Tom Lee says that the violent move in gold and silver isn't panic. It's healthy profit taking after parabolic runs.
The very trades that I highlighted at the very top of this show, because it's so dramatic. Silver's rollover today, as was the run-up that we've seen.
Yeah, well, I think it is a good choice for Fed share. And the move in gold and silver today, it's an interruption. So clearly the market is rethinking the implications of a new Fed chair. I think the timing was a surprise because they all kind of came out last night. And I think it's very healthy, actually, for silver and gold to be seeing some profit taking, because that was a juggernaut trade that I think in many ways was like a vortex sucking risk appetite from everything else into those two trades.
You think those two trades are done? I mean, you talk almost as if you think this is merely a pause that might refresh. The velocity of the move out of silver today is somewhat startling to look at. The market's not supposed to act that way.
Yeah.
I don't care what happened back in 1980 or whatever. It's not supposed to do this.
That's right. I think there is some fundamental reasons for silver to be rising, and gold is, of course, now should hold a place in someone's portfolio. But those were parabolic moves. I think you're right, that could look like blow-off tops similar to 79.80. We won't know with the fullness of time.
Okay, Professor, what do you make of those trades? We often talk.
All right, we don't have the professor's comments, so let's keep it going here. Tom Lee, crypto has been a huge disappointment in this place.
Crypto's been a huge disappointment because, whether it's debasement or geopolitical uncertainty or central banks easing, those are tailwinds for precious metals. It really should be a tailwind for crypto. But I think crypto had suffered and still hasn't recovered from that October 10th deleveraging. So you've seen the crypto market trying to recover. And in fact, early this year, there was probably some momentum until the whole Greenland surprise, and that caused another round of deleveraging. So I think crypto, if in my opinion, is really watching this huge move in precious metals. There's a lot of FOMO for crypto traders, and I think they're actually buying metals. But in the past, these large moves in gold have actually been a precursor to a subsequent move in crypto. So I think part of this is we're seeing a big move in sort of non-US dollar assets, and that follows with crypto.
So Tom's basically saying here, once all of this stuff kind of goes up more, people will be taking profit and then moving that back into the crypto. It sounds like people have been selling crypto to move it into gold and silver to take advantage of these big pumps. But at what point does it go back the other way? And I think that's what we're waiting for. All right, here is some clips and highlights from crypto in America. It's just one more thing that comes up over the course of a long history of getting bills passed that ultimately no one is going to remember.
We saw some guidance come out from the SEC on tokenized securities a couple days ago. Everyone in the industry was a little bit relieved to see, at least some direction there. We get that innovation exemption from the SEC, if we ever get that exemption from the SEC.
No, that's right. I think that release was great. And I think it was very clear in how it set things up. But it also did make the point that just because you tokenize a security doesn't mean that it's no longer a security, right? And so I think that was some of the concern in around 505, around the statements in there, in that text. But I think, where we're currently at, I think that it's going to be a non-issue. And ultimately, it's just one more thing that comes up over the course of the long history of getting this bill passed that will ultimately no one's going to remember.
We saw some guidance come out.
I mean, I guess that's very true. All of the major bills that have been passed, we don't ever go back and say, remember all of the back and forth, all of the compromise, how long it took. We just say that it's done and the rules are now here and that law is now abiding. And so I thought that was a pretty fair point to bring up there. All right, here's another clip. This is Caroline Pham. I'm going to interview you one day, Caroline Pham. I was going to put that out into the world, into the ether. You're one of my favorite regulators. Let me play this.
I do want to maybe clear up some misconceptions and then just provide some really concrete examples from just last year, right? And over time. So the CFTC, of course, has the 5 commissioners, right? And then one of those commissioners is the chairman. The chairman, you can think of the chairman as like a chairman CEO. It's the chief executive of the agency. They actually have all of the authority to direct the agency. The other commissioners are like independent board directors. They have no management responsibilities. They don't actually direct or manage any of the work of the agency at all. And it's very clear over time that the commissioners do not participate in the management of the agency. It's only the chairman that can do that. So a lot of times people are saying that there needs to be more commissioners to share in the work. And that's just not how the agency is set up, right? Those are independent board directors. They do not do any management responsibilities. So that's like a fallacy I just want to point out. Now, of course, it's great to have more commissioners because then you, of course, have more dialogue. You can have more engagement, certainly. The other thing I want to point out from last year is when we had gridlock, right? Only 2 commissioners. I could not get anything done, even something as simple as reopening a comment period for prediction markets to let the whole, like all the public, everybody in the public provide feedback, that got blocked by my fellow commissioner. And that is, and I've said this before, that's wild to me that you would block the public from being able to comment on something. And so if you can imagine that something is non-controversial as having a comment period would get blocked, I couldn't do any enforcement actions. The enforcement actions I had ready to go, settlements that were ready to go, weren't getting voted on either. And so I do think that some of these proposals that would actually codify gridlock without having a majority, right? If you have 4 commissioners, that's gridlock. I just think that needs to be very carefully thought.
It sounds like there's still a lot of things that need to be worked out at the CFTC and the SEC when it comes to who can do what. Blocking a public comment period is probably one of the stupidest things that you can do. You want to be talking and dealing with and getting feedback from the public because that is who is going to use the products. And so you start to wonder, why are they blocking public comments and what is it that they are hiding there or they don't want the public to say? All right, here is a great clip from Davos still. This is the CEO of Coinbase.
I met with one of the top 10 global banks in the world yesterday, and the CEO told me, crypto is my #1 priority. We view that this is existential. And so anytime there's always change happening in the world, and you can think of it as an opportunity or you can think of it as a threat and bury your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. But the reality is that crypto is massive. Like something like 500 million people have used it globally. Bitcoin was the best performing asset class of the last decade. The largest financial institutions of the world are now integrating this. And so at this point, I think it's foolish to pretend that this isn't happening. Yeah. And we also, by the way, have the Genius Act, the stablecoin bill is now passed into law. So we're not going to undo that. That is the law of the land. US regulated stablecoins have to have 100% of the assets stored in short-term US treasuries. So something like 30-day treasuries are the max, I believe. That's pretty much the safest thing you can get. Sure. You're basically trusting the United States government is not going to fail in 30 days, which I think is a pretty safe. Banks do something called fractional reserve lending. They actually don't store all your money there. They're lending it out. That's why they have such high regulatory overhead, because there can be a run on the bank. Mm-hmm. And it gives them a very unique business model. Stablecoin world with 100% reserves, you don't need a bank license for that. There's always been this balance between, do people want to put their money in money markets or do they want to put it as bank deposits? This crypto is not really new in that dimension. Like it's just another flavor of this happening. And there's been a lot of hand wringing about, this is going to destroy all the lending market. I don't think that's true. Like money markets are already trillions of dollars and there's high yield checking accounts.
But these banks haven't had to deal with a disruptive competitor, a technology competitor who's really good at what they're doing. So they're a little bit nervous about their franchise.
Yeah.
Being nervous about your franchise is one thing, but understanding that this technology is going to make an impact on a global scale, you either need to get in the same boat with everybody else in the fintech players, or you're going to drown. I mean, you really won't have a business if you don't have a blockchain strategy right now in 2026. So what is that strategy? What are you going to do for your customers so they stay at your bank? Because if other institutions are offering better services, instant payments, cheaper fees, you are going to lose customers at an alarming pace. All right, guys, I will leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. If you got value, please like, share, leave a comment down below. I want to hear from you about any of this. What do you think? Thank you so much for being here. It is always a pleasure. I will see you in the next one. Aloha.
So thanks for that update there, Sensei, Crypto Sensei. So let's see here. I guess we will run crypto Bull Van Winkle real quick. Nobody's watching Ripple.
And I specific.
Let's see, Claus or Van Winkle? Claus or Van Winkle? What is this? I guess we'll go with. Let's see what Van Winkle was talking about.
While everyone panics about the crypto crash, nobody's watching what Ripple just did, and it could change everything. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It is 33 freaking degrees in Southwest Florida this morning. This isn't normal. We shouldn't have to go to work in these conditions. There is actually frost on top of the cars. I've never seen that. I've lived here 11 years. I've never seen frost on a car on a Florida morning. This is absolutely wild. Look, two more degrees lower, we could be getting snow. I don't think it's ever snowed down here. I'm pretty sure if it was even a dusting, they would shut the entire county down. But anyways, enough about that. We got a lot to get into. A lot going on behind the scenes by Ripple right now. We're going to talk about it. Most people think XRP is just another crypto that's caught in the downturn, right? Bleeding out with Bitcoin, dying a slow death with the rest of the altcoins. Just another overhyped token that once again missed its moment. But let me tell you what you're all missing. While retail traders are busy watching these deep, disgusting red candles, Ripple is quietly securing the regulatory infrastructure to become the next backbone of European digital payments. They're not playing the crypto game anymore. They're playing a completely different game that most people don't even know exists. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 4 developments that are happening right now. The technical setup that mirrors Bitcoin's biggest bounce in years. The regulatory chess move that just unlocked 27 countries. And the ETF flow data that tells a different story than the price action. And what the world's most powerful crypto billionaire just signaled about market timing. I've been tracking these institutional moves for almost a decade, folks. I've never seen a setup quite like this, where the worst sentiment meets the strongest fundamentals ever. Let's break it all down. So let's head over. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. So Bitcoin just hit its most oversold level on the daily time frame since August 2023. Let me put that into perspective for you. In August of 23, Bitcoin was trading around $26,000. 3 months later, it was at 44,000, a 69% move. Now, when we come back over to the XRP chart and we look at the XRP RSI indicator, which you've seen at the bottom of your screen, we are sitting at about a 20, call it 29.30. Very oversold. We haven't seen this territory in over 18 months. This isn't just oversold, okay? This is what we're talking when we talk about capitulation levels oversold. The kind of extreme readings that historically mark bottoms, not tops, or not the beginning of a further collapse. XRP specifically is showing an RSI divergence. What does that mean? Simple. Your price is making lower lows while your RSI, it's making higher lows. That is the textbook reversal setup. And it's happening at this exact moment, folks. The charts don't lie. And let me tell you why this matters more than just technical analysis. Because your extreme oversold conditions, look, they don't guarantee an immediate bounce, but they do tell you one thing. They tell you that maximum fear has been reached. And in crypto, maximum fear is when the smartest money positions for the next cycle, which brings me directly over to Ripple's move. That could change the entire playing field, because while your traders are looking at RSI, Ripple just unlocked something way more valuable than a technical bounce. You see it here on your screen. This is coming from your number one Ripple and XRP news website, xrprightnow.com. Save it to your bookmarks. You can see the title. XRP, the Ripple, secures an EU e-money license. Let's get into it as my coffee has already gone cold. Didn't take long. So Ripple got a full approval for an electronic money institution license from Luxembourg's financial regulators. known this called the CCF. You see right here in the first line for those of you watching with me. Now, if you think, so what, it's just another license, you're missing the nuclear option they just activated. Let me break down what this actually means. Luxembourg operates under the EU passporting rights. That means one license in Luxembourg, it equals automatic access to all 27 EU member states. You're starting to see how big this is now? We're talking Germany, France, Italy, Spain, the entire European financial system. So Ripple can now legally offer regulated payment services to banks, to fintechs, to enterprise clients across the entire EU without needing separate approval in each country. And here's Ripple. They put out their insight on this today. Hot off the press, folks. You can see the date right here. Boom. Ripple's already secured UK approval recently. And now they got regulatory clearance in the UK and the entire EU bloc. But here's the part no one's connecting. Ripple isn't launching a consumer app. They're targeting banks and financial institutions with their Ripple payment platform. These are multi-billion-dollar enterprises that won't touch crypto infrastructure unless it is fully regulated and compliant. Ripple just solved the #1 barrier to institutional adoption in Europe: regulatory uncertainty. While every other crypto company is fighting regulators or operating in gray zones, Ripple is getting formal government approval to integrate into the legacy financial system. This is massive, everyone. This isn't about price pumps or retail FOMO. This is about becoming infrastructure. And infrastructure, guess what? It doesn't show up on crypto Twitter or TikTok. It shows up in your payment rails that move trillions of freaking dollars. Now you might be thinking, if this is so bullish, why is the price down? Well, I'll tell you why. The ETF flow data tells a very different story than what you're seeing on.
Please tell us why the price is down, if everything is crazy and should be pressed to go up, because this is really good news. I don't understand why this isn't reflected in the price.
On the chart. Yeah, here you go. Last week, digital asset products, they saw 1.7 billion in outflows. Cryptocurrency market crashed over 2.1 billion. Bitcoin alone saw $1.3 billion leave it. ETH lost 308. Solana dropped 31 and XRP 43.7 million. On the surface, this looks catastrophic. But here's what everyone's missing. These aren't retail holders selling. These are ETF redemptions, which means your institutional position changes. Now look at the detail here. Your short Bitcoin products, they saw 14.5 million in inflows. That means money is actively betting against Bitcoin at these levels. Institutions are paying to short Bitcoin at its most oversold level in 18 months. Now, historically, when institutional money piles into shorts at extreme oversold levels, they're providing exit liquidity for smart money, accumulating at the bottom. This is the exact opposite of what you want to see at the market top. This is what capitulation looks like. The outflows aren't the story, folks. The short inflows are the stories. Institutions are betting against crypto at the worst possible technical moment. And that sets up the exact conditions for a violent squeeze when your sentiment shifts. Remember, markets do not bottom when everyone is bullish. They bottom when the last optimist throws in the towel and even the pros are betting against it. But look, you don't got to take my word for it. That's cool. I never want you to take my word for it, right? I want you to do your own research and figure it out. But I want to show you one of the smartest billionaires in crypto. Yeah, CZ Binance. He just made a move that tells you exactly how he's positioning. Look, love him or hate him. I hate him. I think he's a scumbag. He's manipulating the markets for as long as I've been in them, which is almost 10 years. He's wiping out longs. He's crashing prices. And I mean, is it any coincidence that he starts his Seifu buying? And remember, we talked about this the other day. He was going to deploy a certain amount of capital into crypto or into Bitcoin. Is it any coincidence that the price of Bitcoin crashes right before he starts his buying? Of course not. He did this on purpose. So the Binance Seifu fund, I'll blow it up so you can see the buys. They just bought over 100 million worth of Bitcoin. $100 million in the middle of a crash. That's CZ, the founder of Binance. He has a track record of being early, not late. So I guess we got something working in our favor, right? The Seifu Fund, what does it stand for? Because you probably hear that term, but you don't even know what it means. It stands for the Secure Asset Funds for Users. This is Binance's emergency insurance fund. And they just allocated 9 figures into BTC at these levels. I wish you did it on the public order book because it would have sent the price flying, but no. You know how they do it. Over the counter. Doesn't affect retail. Look, this isn't about speculation here. This isn't about gambling. This is about calculated deployment of capital from someone who has access to more data than almost anyone on earth. CZ sees the order books. He sees the movement. He sees what retail doesn't see. And he's buying. When billionaires who built their fortune in crypto deploy 9 figures during maximum fear, they're not hoping for a bounce. They're front running the next cycle. Remember, CZ, he didn't get rich by buying tops and selling bottoms. He got rich by doing the exact opposite of what your emotional retail traders do. And right now, while retail is selling into oversold conditions, well, my man is backing up the old dump truck. Folks, this is the signal. Not your price predictions, not YouTube hopium. This is action. This is real money. This is real positioning going on right now. So let's bring this back and let's zoom out a little bit and suck it all back in. You got Bitcoin and XRP at the most oversold level since August 23, right before a 69% rally. You got Ripple securing a full regulatory approval to operate across 27 EU countries, plus the UK, building real infrastructure while everyone else is chasing meme coins. You got ETF outflows confirming maximum fear while shorts piling at the bottom. And then you got one of crypto's smartest billionaires deploying 100 million into Bitcoin right now. None of this guarantees the bottom is in tomorrow. Let's make that very clear. But it does tell you something more important. While everyone's watching the price, the smartest players in the game are positioning for what comes next. And history, it shows that by the time everyone agrees the bottom is in, guess what? You already missed the best entry. The question isn't whether crypto will recover. It always does. The question is whether you're paying attention to what's being built while everyone else is panicking about what's being sold. Nobody's watching Ripple. But maybe that's exactly the point. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe.
So thanks for that information. That was actually pretty valuable, actually. And like you were saying, these guys are buying when it goes down because they know what's going down, right? They are actively pushing it down. And they're buying it on these off chains. So when they do see it coming back, they can transfer it back over. But this is speculation, right? There's no rhyme or reason. There's no way to catch them. We just have to roll the punches. But thanks for joining. We'll be back later for the big video sometime this afternoon, maybe 5, 6, I don't know. But as always, thanks for joining, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit your main man up with a super chat. If not, see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. And as always, let's get back to the money, guys. Stay dangerous. It's your main man, BTM, signing out. Peace out. Miners out.